Hello, I welcome to all my dear students. Myself Dr. J.K. Sali. Today we are going to learn meaning and definition of research design, nature of research design, and classification of research design. So let's start with the new topic, nature and classification of research design. Definition of research design. According to P.V. Young, research design is the logical and systematic planning and directing of a piece of research. Research design is the plan, structure, and strategy of investigation so as to obtain answer to research questions to control variance. The research design constitutes the blueprint for the collection, measurement, and analysis of data. Nature of research design. Research design is the framework of research methods and techniques by a researcher. Design allows researchers to identify research method that's suitable for the subject matter and their studies for success. The following are the essential elements of research design. The first is accurate purpose statement. Second is type of research methodology. Next is probable objections for research. Next is setting for the research study. Next, measurement of analysis. Proper research design sets research study for the success. Need for research design. Without research design, research work becomes unfocused and empirical wondering. Researchers find it difficult and time consuming to make the adequate in the complex of factors before him. He may not able to decide what is relevant and what is not, and get lost in a welter of irrelevance. A research plan prescribes the boundaries of research activities and enables the researcher to channelize his energies in the right work. In this slide, now we will discuss classification of research design. Researcher must have a clear understanding of various types of research design to select which model to implement for the study. The first is qualitative research design. Qualitative research is concerned with qualitative phenomena relating to or involving quality or kind. Researchers are interested in the investigating reason for human behavior. In this respect, motivational research, an important type of qualitative research. Research is a process which a person observes the phenomena again and again, collects the data. On the basis of this data, the researchers Some conclusion. It is the most important process for advancing knowledge and progress, enable man to relate effectively in order to his purpose to resolve his conflicts. Second point is quantitative research design. This research attempts the measurement of an unknown. In business research, the methodologies usually measure consumer behavior, knowledge, opinion, or attitudes. Methodologies answer questions related to how much, how many, when, and who. The survey is not the only methodology used by the researcher. The approach involves the generation of data and form which can be subjected to this method. The purpose of this research is based on in the phenomena to be studied, the data which provide a detailed description of situation between the people and things, thus providing and detail. This research is often used for theory testing, requiring researcher to maintain a distance from the research as to bias the result. Third point is exploratory research design. The word exploratory is related to exploration, means to investigate systematically, search into and examine for the purpose of discovering something new. It is the process of collecting information to formulate the management, research and investigate questions. The main purpose of study research is that formulating problem for a more investigation of the developing the working hypothesis from operational point of view. There are three types of exploratory research design. The first is the survey of concerning the literature. It is the method for formulating research problem along with new literature, previous hypotheses, also review for future research. In this method, researchers should review upon the work already done by the others. Second is experience survey. It is the type of research that involves the survey of people who have practical experience of the problem under the study. Survey of people with more innovative ideas and carefully selected as respondent. The respondents are interviewed by an investigator. Thus, experience surveys enables the researcher to define the problem. And third types of exploratory research design is analysis of insight, stimulating examples. This method includes the intensive study of selected of a phenomena. In this method, exacting records are examined and interviews may be conducted. In this method, attitude of the investigator of study, ability of the researcher to unify the information of the problem is very important. So, these were the various types of exploratory research design. Next point is descriptive research design. Descriptive research design means research design in case of descriptive studies which is concerned with describing the characteristics of a particular individual or of a group. Descriptive study at identifying the various characteristics of community or institution or problem under the study. It does not deal with the testing of propositions or hypotheses. Use of descriptive research. Following are the advantages of descriptive studies. The first is a descriptive study employs simple statistical techniques like average and percentage. Next is this type of research acts as a liaison between laboratories and field situations and stimulates research in both directions. Descriptive information should also be useful for formulating explanations and awareness. Limitations. The limitations of descriptive research are given below. The first is a descriptive study identifies relevant variables but does not aim at testing hypotheses. Second is the researcher may make description an end in itself. It is not applicable to problems which cannot satisfy the requires criteria mentioned earlier. Next point is experimental research design. The nature of relationship between independent variables and dependent variables is presumed stated in the form of causal hypothesis. A closely controlled procedure is adopted to test them. The criteria of the experimental research design. Following conditions are required for an experimental study. The first is it should be possible to select exactly identical groups, and second is the target groups should be amendable for experimentation. It should be possible to keep non-experimental variables constant as to study the effect of experimental on the phenomenon. Use of experimental research design. The uses of experimental research design are given below. The first is use of experimental research is also common in other biological fields. And second is experimental design offers a means for testing values. Limitation. The limitation of experimental research as are enumerated below. The use of experimental design in social research is complicated. Second is there are limits to experimentation among human beings. It can be used to study only the present and cannot be used for studies of the past or the future. The use of experimental design in social research is complicated. It is difficult to establish experimental and control groups. So, these were the various classification of research design. Thank you.